Welcome to the next video in the series, where I show you the most efficient ways to perform any exercise so you can maximize your time in the gym. Today we're going over the Bayesian Curl, one of the most popularized bicep exercises in recent years, especially by those from the science-based community due to its lengthened position. Although I don't believe it fully lengthens the biceps as much as we believe it does, more on that later in the video, I do believe it is a good exercise. And today, I'll show you how to get the most out of it with the most efficient setup and performance. Instead of standing, I like to do these in a half kneeling position, as this is a more stable position to curl from, giving us a solid foundation. Whether you do the standing or half kneeling, set the cable height at a little lower than shoulder height. This provides the most tension at the most stretched position for the biceps. If the cable is at the lowest setting possible, you wouldn't get much tension when the biceps are most stretched, which is what we are looking for to maximize the effectiveness of an exercise for building muscle. If the cable is the highest possible, it could result in some strange tension curves and might be too uncomfortable for the shoulder being placed under high loads in an extremely extended position. You want to keep your head and neck in a neutral position, looking forward when performing the curl. Use a D handle as the cable attachment and grab it with an underhand grip. You can hold it in the middle of the handle, or if you really want to maximize the stretch and contribution of the biceps, you can grab the handle with your thumb closer to the end, as this forces your biceps to have to supinate more than they normally would. I go over this more in depth in this video for the dumbbell curls here or in the description below. Keep a neutral curve in your low back and your torso upright, at least when starting the exercise. This will put your shoulder into more extension, which will somewhat get your biceps more lengthened. More on that later. Like I mentioned before, you want to do these in a half kneeling position for more stability, with your stance wider to help increase your base of support, providing better balance. Have the toes up on your back foot and planted in the ground for additional support. When curling, think about curling in an arc, as if you're trying to scoop into the ground as deep as you can. If you just thought about curling forward, your front delts will take over the movement and this will decrease the contribution and stimulus to the biceps. Additionally, you can lean forward with your torso to help complete the movement as long as you still feel a tension in your biceps. Similar to the curling motion, you don't want additional muscles to take over the exercise. Although this is claimed to be a lengthened movement for the biceps, since you're stretching them out at the wrist, elbow, and shoulder by going into shoulder extension, I feel as if this is overhyped. You see, the biceps have two heads, hence biceps. One of the heads originates at the coracoid process of the scapula, and the long head originates at the superior labrum, aka the top part of the ring around the socket of the shoulder. The thing is, when your shoulder goes into extension, your scapula, or shoulder blade, goes forward into anterior tilt. This means the origins of the muscles also goes forward, so it begs the question, do we really stretch out the biceps as much as we think we do? Maybe more than a cable curl, but in my opinion and given the anatomy, this is a slighter difference than originally believed. Additionally, I've seen this variation where you have a bench in front of the cable and your arms more out to your sides than behind, which I believe stretches out the biceps more than the Bayesian curl, given that the scapula retracts rather than goes into anterior tilt. However, this can make for a cumbersome setup, and if you're in the gym at a busy time, it may not be possible. In any case, 10 to 15 reps for 3 to 5 sets is a solid range for Bayesian curls or this variation. Heavier weights and lower reps aren't the best idea for Bayesian curls, as your anterior shoulder is already in a compromised position with increased load. So that's why I like the 10 to 15 rep range. These also aren't very fatiguing either, as long as your shoulder is okay that day. Up to 5 sets can be a great range. If you have any questions about the Bayesian curl, leave a comment below and I'll do my best to answer you. Click like and subscribe if you found this video helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.